everybody, it's James here from goodguitarist.com, and in today's lesson I'm going to show you how to play We Don't Talk Anymore by Charlie Puth. And this tune is easy and hard at the same time. It's easy because it's the same chords, same thing the whole time. There's one little exception, but it's pretty much the exact same thing the whole time. And what makes it hard is the sheer speed of it. You know, the finger picking pattern isn't that hard, but it's just so quick. And the shape that we're using, we actually need to use bar chord shapes to play this one like the original recording. And I'll show you how to do it in a way that's a bit easier using just like a shell of the bar chord. But your hand is basically going to be in that position. So like I said, there's easy things about this song and there's some really intermediate-ish things about this song too. We'll start out with the chord shapes. Our first one is an A chord, an A bar chord. And that would require our stock E-shaped bar chord. We make an E chord using these three fingers. This is how I teach this. So instead of, using your first finger, we have to save it for later. Put our middle finger there, pinky, ring. Pressing the same spots, just with different fingers. Then you drag that up, get your first finger lined up with the 5th fret. That's our first chord. And we just go. Then 7th fret. Then up to the 9th fret, and we use the minor shape. So we lift our middle finger off and we use it to reinforce our first finger. And then we use this minor shape at the 4th fret. So I'll review it. Major shape at the 5th fret, major shape at the 7th fret, switch to the minor shape at the 9th fret, and then minor shape at the 4th fret. And this is the full bar chord, but the thing is, we're finger picking, we're not strumming, so we only need to hold down the strings that we actually need to use. And in this case, it's going to be the 5th fret on the lowest string, the 7th fret on the A string, then we skip a string, and then we go to the 6th fret of the G string. So that's what I mean when I say the shell of a bar chord. Those are all the notes you need to get the chord to sound like an A chord. Now from there, we're going to move up 2 frets. Same thing though. That's the cool thing about bar chords, is that you generally get to move around the same shape or similar shapes. And if you find that you want to get into bar chords more, I actually just released a course called Barre Chords Made Easy, which starts off with like a simple thing that you could do on your first lesson. And we kind of just go step by step and just work our way up there. So it's, a lot of the times people have this big moment where they just have to jump in and go from playing normal chords to bar chords. And I thought I'd make something to kind of smooth out that transition. Anyways, from the chord we're on right here, we go up 2 more frets. But we have to actually change our shape here. Instead of our middle finger being, between the two, we actually have to line it up with our first finger. And that's where playing a full bar chord would be advantageous, because then you'd just be able to do that. So there I'm holding down the 9th fret with my first finger. I have my ring finger on the 11th fret, just 2 frets higher. And then my first finger is also touching the 9th fret of the G string. And you could back it up with your middle finger, just reinforce it. And then we take this shape and we go down to the 4th fret. So whether you're doing that with full bar chords or with the shells, just work on that a little bit, getting through the chord transitions between each shape. Just get the chord switching out of the way. And once you can do that, once you have a handle on those shapes, we can add the finger picking to it. It goes like this. So that's a really repetitive pattern. The middle part of it is just like the same 3-note pattern over and over again. Let's break it down and, figure it all out so that you're using the right fingers and everything. We're going to start off, I'm going to grab the shell of the chord. You could play the whole bar chord if you want the practice. And have my thumb on the lowest string. I have my first finger on the next one. And then I'm going to put either my middle finger or my ring finger on the G string. Those are the strings we're pressing when we're using the shell, and those are the strings that we have to touch with our fingers. So it's just those 3 strings: thumb, index, ring. E, A, G. And we start off just going thumb, index, and then we go like this. Ring, index, thumb. And we do that 4 times. So ring, index, thumb, 2, 3, 4. And then we finish off going ring, index, and we change shapes, and we do that all again. When you put it all together, and then we move to the next shape, do that again. Then we move to the next shape. And the next one. So if you're like most students, this is the point where you're going to be for quite a bit, maybe an hour of practice, maybe a couple hours, maybe a couple weeks, who knows? It's up to how much you practice and how much you focus as you're practicing and where you're at with guitar. If this is like the first song you're learning, I don't recommend this being the first song you learn, by the way, but if this is the first song you're learning, it's going to take like a few months to get it together. But if you've already gotten some experience finger picking, playing a little bit of bar chords, then this shouldn't take you too long to get it down. Once you're at that point, you got to work on the transitions between each chord shape. And for that, I recommend doing something really simple. Just playing the last 2 strokes on the first shape, going, and the first 3 strokes on the next shape. So we're kind of just playing the end of one chord and the start of the next chord. We're going on our first shape, just like that, over and over again. Make an exercise out of that. Over and over. And then do that from the second shape to the third shape. This one's a bit tougher because you're switching the shape of it as well, Back, reset. And then do that, obviously, from this shape to that one, and then from this shape. So yeah, it's really simple. I just take the whole finger picking pattern and I just chop off that last little bit, at the end, and then I connect it to the next bit. I'm just working on the transition part. There's no point picking through the whole thing if you're already good at it, and if the transition is what's bothering you, you focus on it. Anyways, once you've done that, once you've taken the care to get it together nice and slow, we can play this song together super, super slowly. The original recording is really fast. I want you to get it perfect at like half that speed, and then you can go up a little bit, every couple days until you got this song together. So let's try that nice and slow. 2 and 3 and 4 and... So at the very end there, you might have noticed that I stayed on that third chord shape, and that happens right before the chorus, right before the "we don't talk anymore," right before that part. Instead of going to G sharp minor, instead of going to the 4th fret, we just stay on that one for 2 iterations of the whole finger picking pattern. And aside from that though, you just repeat the same thing over and over and over again, which makes this one, that's one of the easy parts of this song, right? The shapes are kind of tough, the finger picking pattern and the sheer speed of it's kind of tough, but remembering what chord to play next, not too bad. So before we finish up here, just a couple things. If you want it to sound exactly like the recording, you actually have to palm mute this one by lightly touching the strings. Just a little bit of overlap, too much, and you'll just completely kill the strings, but just enough. You get a really cool effect. But that adds a lot of tension, when you're holding it down. Like if you're floating your hand, it kind of lets it relax. Whereas this, you're pressing down. So the trick with that is to not press into your guitar too much. You don't want to palm mute by pressing down that way, but you want your hand to kind of slide into it. You want gravity to palm mute for you. And that takes a bit of getting used to. It's something that's just a little tough. I don't recommend doing it if you don't have this song already like absolutely perfect without. And getting this song up to speed is gonna take some work. But if you just take it slowly, working on the fact that the pattern is just like da 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 da. It's just the same rhythm the whole time. It's just 8th notes. Makes it a little bit easier to practice. And yeah, setting a metronome and then just jacking it up little by little, that's totally the way to do it. That's the way that I would recommend to all my students. And as far as tempos, start at something really slow, like 60 beats per minute, just like and then you go to 61, then 62. Like, don't put it up a whole bunch. You want it to be barely noticeable, and every day you go a little bit faster, and eventually that'll help you build up the technique. It's not what you're doing, it's how you're doing it. That's how you get better, is by doing things the right way, taking the time to be precise, accurate, making it sound good. When you play it super slow, you should be able to take that, you should be able to record you playing it really slowly and then speed it up and it sounds just like the song. That's how you want to do it when you're playing it slowly. And using a metronome is the best way to do that. Other than that, have a fun time practicing this one. If you need more help with bar chords, don't forget I have my premium course on bar chords Made Easy. Otherwise, I'll see you soon.